Welcome back to another video, guys, and if you're anything like me, you're probably stuck at home right now. As you can see, I'm sitting here in my room. As you can see, I've got a hoodie on right now, so I've got the dress code down pat. And if you've seen the title of today's video, which you obviously have if you've clicked on this video, we're going to be shopping for property today using Google Maps. Now, you might be thinking, Andrew has spent way too much time at home and he's starting to lose his mind. And you might be right. I just got approved to purchase another investment property with the banks. I like to do a lot of research before purchasing a property, and as many of you know, if you've been watching my videos for a little while, I particularly like positively geared properties where the rent covers all the expenses, your mortgage repayments, so on, so on. So you're not actually paying for that property yourself, the tenant's covering it all and paying it off for you. The areas where I find these properties are typically in regional areas which take a few hours drive to get to. And for the sake of protecting myself, I'm going to diversify the areas that I buy in. So I don't want to keep buying in the same town, because then a lot of these areas have smaller populations. And if something goes wrong with the economy in this particular area, it's going to hurt me a little bit more if I have multiple properties there rather than spreading out the properties that I buy. What I like to do when I'm researching an area is essentially just spend a couple of hours driving around, seeing the people that are walking around the area, because they're the people that are going to be living in the neighborhood and potentially your client that's renting from you, and that's what a tenant is, it's a client. See the condition of the property, see whether there's any rundown cars, whether there's a lot of junk, whether there's, broken windows on properties. So you can find out quite a lot about an area that you don't know anything about to begin with just by getting in the car and driving around. Now, I like to do this multiple times before purchasing a property because I want to know a good understanding of what are the good pockets in a suburb, what are the bad pockets in a suburb, and where do I really want to avoid, where the government housing might be. And that's all well and good, but if I'm going out to an area to look and I might go 5 or 6 times before I purchase a property, all of a sudden, I'm in the car doing that few hours trip 6 or 7 times. So what I've realized recently is there's actually a trick you can do with doing quite a bit of the research through Google Maps to establish the baseline and your basic understanding about the area before going out to start looking at open homes, which I still 100% recommend that you look at every property in person. I don't agree at all with those people that just say, oh yeah, look, we looked at it online, it looked great, we had someone go and look on our behalf, and we bought it. So without any further delay, let's jump onto the computer. Okay, so we're on the computer now and we're on realestate.com, and I've got some properties saved here in Traralgon, which we're going to use for today's subject. Now, what we're going to do is essentially look at the properties on realestate.com, get a good idea of what they look like, then jump into Google Maps and see what they actually look like in reality. Now, typically when I'm looking at properties, I like to look as close as possible to the city centre. And as you can see here is the city centre. We've got a couple of properties, 6 to be exact, on this side of town. And basically the suburb finishes here. So a lot of these ones are right on the fringe, which could mean that they're the cheaper ones. In smaller areas like this, the closer to town that you are, the better in general. But let's dive straight in. So let's have a look at this one, for example, here in Dyer Court. Now, if we jump through to the photos, it's a brick home. Looks in reasonable condition. So that gives us a good idea about the property, right? But we don't know anything about the area. And one of the things is you'll look at properties right now and you'll see photos online and you go, okay, that looks like a good property, but it could be in a terrible location. And until you physically drive out there, you're not going to realize that. And if you're spending a couple of hours driving out to these properties, you can waste quite a bit of time. So this can save you quite a bit of time just by simply jumping on here, and let's find Dyer Court. Here we are. So now we've got Dyer Court here, and this is the property that we're looking at. I think number 3 it was. So we grab our little person and we drop down here. We're now going into the court location. Straight away, first thing you can see, windows. There's a dodgy car on the front lawn. That could be okay in this neighborhood, depending how many properties are like this. So let's have a look at the other side of the street. So this is a nice, neat little brick home. And let's continue down the street. So continue down the street. You've got kids' bikes all over the neighbour strip. There's 2 chairs on the front lawn there. Who has chairs on their front lawn? There's more junk there. Okay. Let's continue down towards the property. So this is the subject property right here. And as you can see, which we could see in the photos, there looks to be a school in the background. That probably doesn't matter too much. Look here, property seems like a normal brick home in this type of area. Again, normal brick home. As you can see, we've got kids playing in the street here. Again, another brick home. But then you start to look here. The blinds are damaged here. There's a number of different objects in this window. Probably doesn't matter that much, but it gives us an overall idea of the area. Now let's jump out of this view and we'll compare to another one. So if we have a look at the other side of town now, we've got one here in Pollock Avenue. So let's jump back over to our Google Maps. Here we have Pollock Avenue. So now if we grab our little person again and we drop them down here, we're going to be able to get another view of what this side of town looks like. Now, already you can see there's a skip here. That may just be because someone is cleaning up, or it could be because they have a lot of junk, essentially. Nice, neat little driveway there. Obviously, they're fixing this one up at the moment. Let's go back down this way, shall we? So another skip here. Looks like they're renovating though, so that's nothing to worry about. This one's for sale. That looks nice and neat. Already we can see here the houses seem to be in slightly better condition than what we saw in the other court. So this is giving us a general idea that this pocket might be a little bit nicer than the other pocket that we were just looking at. If we take more time to look around the area, we can see that over the other side of town, from what I've noticed having a look around myself already, there seems to be a lot more properties that are a little bit more damaged. Whereas as you can see here, all the lawns are mowed, which is a really good start. The cars, you know, this doesn't look like the one we saw on the front lawn before. It's a nice, neat little car. But everyone's, except for this one, everyone's garden's been really well maintained. That is just an old house though. It doesn't, you know, they don't have junk lying all over the front lawn and everything like that other one we saw did. So what I do is I basically have a look around and I basically just click up and down the streets, getting a really good idea as to, you know, what the type and the character of the neighborhood is. You can actually see, you know, the people that are looking around in the area. As you can see here, really cute houses. Like a lot of these nice weatherboards that people seem to have put some money into to actually try and restore, which is always a good thing. There's people building nice new units on the corner here. All in all, this seems to be a much nicer pocket than the other one. So right now we are in the same pocket as the first property that we looked at in Dyer Court, and I'm just basically going for a bit of a wander with the camera, looking at the overall area, so not just the particular street, but all the surrounding streets. As you can see here, we've got a lady. She's got 3 cars parked on the front lawn. That's never a good sign. She's got a whole heap of junk on the front veranda. Let's take another look down the other end of the street. So this seems to be a clear through way, so it'd be an easement or something that the council owns. Clicking further down. Yeah, you can just see this street and this pocket seems to be quite a bit rougher. Look, you can see there you've got the baby seat here, you've got some extra junk just lying around. The other thing you can do is you can get a good look at the people that live in the area. No comment. But it gives you a really good idea just by clicking around who the likely people are in the area that you're going to be dealing with. Look, it's almost every second house just has heaps of extra stuff lying on the front lawn for no real reason. Look at the car. It's older. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but if you look around the whole area, you can get a general consensus as to what the area is like, get a better idea of the pocket, and then basically from there I would jump in the car, I would head out to the area and I would actually start doing some due diligence in person, start going through open homes, do everything that I said in previous videos where you actually start looking around at all the different comparables. But at least by doing this, you might be able to save yourself a few hours of driving around, driving out, driving back, just to get an understanding of the area. At least if you do this first due diligence, you can work out what are the good pockets of the area, what are the bad pockets of the area, and then when you're looking online, you have a greater understanding of why the real estate agent has priced it where they have when you're looking at just the photos of the property, because you know whether it's in a good pocket or a bad pocket. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to subscribe as always, and I will see you guys on the next video. Which hopefully by that point I'll be allowed to leave my house.